everybody. Welcome to the Tri-Veg Test Kitchen. I want to wait a few moments to allow some people to tune in, and then we're going to start cooking. All right, I see a few new participants tuned in, so let's get right into this recipe. So today in the Tri-Veg Test Kitchen, I'm going to be making a recipe for tuna casserole, but this is tuna-less casserole. It's completely vegan, and you will not be harming any sea animals in the eating or making of this dish. So if you're here and you're watching, can you give me a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me? Or just comment letting me know you can hear me. Let's see. Can you hear me now? Okay, that's lower. All right, I'm going to assume we're all good on the volume. So let's do this. So we're making a tuna-less casserole, and this recipe is inspired by a recipe by Martha Stewart, and it is on her website. So that's where I found it, and it's a Mediterranean vegan tuna casserole. So it has noodles and tuna, but we are not using tuna fish. We are using a plant-based tuna by the company Good Catch. So here is the tuna that we will be using in today's recipe. And yes, this is awesome. It's gluten-free and it's made with 14 grams of protein. So it's protein packed. It's a great source of protein and fiber. So we're going to be using this today. And this recipe is as part of our campaign to encourage Martha Stewart to stop, supporting cruelty to animals by using fish from a farm that Compassion Over Killing recently investigated. So, people are watching this and they want to take action. So you can sign our petition, which I will link in our comments. And you can also, talk to Martha Stewart, reach out to her on social media and let her know that she should cut ties with the fish farm who is treating these fish this way. But another form of activism is our choices that we make on our plate. So I'm going to show you how to make a completely fish-free vegan tuna-less casserole that you and your family are going to enjoy. So here I have a skillet, and I'm going to put that on about 350 degrees, so around medium high. I just want to heat this up really quick to show you just how quickly this recipe comes together. And while I wait for this skillet to heat up a bit, I'm going to go through some of the ingredients with you. So like I showed you, we're going to be using 2 packets of Good Catch's vegan tuna. We have the fish-free tuna in water, and then we also have the Mediterranean tuna. And so this has a few more extra spices like, let's see, garlic powder, chili pepper, tomato concentrate, seaweed, salt, spices, olive oil, and onions. So this has a little extra boost of flavor. So that's what we're using. To make it a tuna-less casserole, we're also going to be using noodles. So the noodles that I'm using are actually by Barilla, and these are their grain-free noodles. They're made with chickpea flour. So I went ahead and boiled these for about 6 minutes. I didn't want to overcook them because I will be cooking them in the skillet, and I didn't want them to be mushy. So that's our 2 main components. And then everything else is just going to be adding lots of flavor and texture. So I have 1 can of hearts of palm, and I just sliced them thinly. And, these are a great source of texture. It's flaky and it's tender, so it's going to complement the vegan tuna fish very well. But you could use whatever type of vegetables you like. You could use artichoke hearts. You could use roasted red peppers. You could use roasted eggplant maybe. All of those would add lovely complementary textures to this casserole that we're making. And I keep saying casserole. And the original recipe is definitely a casserole that's baked in the oven, but I'm going to show you a stovetop version, so it's a little bit quicker. And so you can prepare it either way you like. You can put everything together like I'm going to show you and then bake it in the oven, or you can go ahead and make it in your skillet and have it ready to go quickly. So I also have some sliced bell peppers. Different colors. I have some orange ones, and it's fall now, and so the purple bell peppers are in season now, so I thought they were really pretty, so I have some of those in there. I also have olive oil. I have a cup and a half of plain unsweetened almond milk, but you can use the plant milk of your choice. And I have a 4-ounce container of Follow Your Heart's Parmesan cheese shreds. So these are going to be really nice. And then I also have scallions and garlic, quite a bit of garlic. But with all that said, let's start cooking. I feel the heat coming off of the skillet. So I'm going to go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to this pan. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in our garlic. We don't want to burn the garlic at all, but we do want it to heat up nicely and, start to release its flavors, its oils. That's going to really provide a nice flavor base for this dish. So we're just getting the garlic coated in the oil and spread all over the hot skillet. Okay. And I smell that almost instantly. So let's just spread and coat the entire base of this pan with the oil. Okay. All right. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and add in some of these bell peppers. So I'm going to use about half of them. This is probably about 2 bell pepper sliced. But yeah, I'm going to use about half of them. And then we just want to start to saute these as well. We want them to all be heated through, but we don't want to overcook them because bell peppers can get really, really soft if you overcook them. So got this going nicely. Beautiful bell peppers here. And this smells so good already. Okay, so we've got our bell peppers in here. Now I have 2 sliced scallions or green onions. They're the same thing. I'm going to sprinkle those into our pan right now. Use about half of them, and then I'm going to save the rest for a garnish. And bright, beautiful colors come together already. If you've watched any of my cooking demos before, you've heard me talk over and over again about the importance of incorporating lots of color into the dishes that you're eating because that's the indication that you're getting lots of nutrition from plants. So we have orange and purple bell peppers, nice green scallion, golden garlic. Everything's in here looking beautiful. So I'm going to spread that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and put down my spoon so I can open up our vegan tuna, fish-free tuna. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and, let's see, I think I'll scoop it out. Put it in here. Now, each pack of these is a serving according to their serving sizes. And each serving has 14 grams of protein. So it's a really great way to get in some protein in a really convenient way. And it's also seasoned. So you can do all kinds of things. You could pour it over salad. You could have it on a sandwich with crackers, anything. But I'm really excited to use it in this delicious stovetop casserole today. Okay. Don't want to miss anything. All right. So we've got 1 packet in. Let's get our 2nd packet in. Okay. Here we go. Now we've got just our original in water, I think they said. So this doesn't have any extra olive oil in it or seasonings, but that is just fine because we are going to add plenty of seasoning to this as we go. Lots of flavor will be incorporated in this dish. I've had the opportunity to try Good Catch tuna a few times, and it's really tasty. And I've had it in everything from tuna melt to tuna salad. Anything you can think of, you can use this product in. So I really, really like it. And I think you'll like it too if you can find it in your store. Okay. You see, I'm really serious about getting every single drop of this out of this packet. Okay, so we've got that done. And now I think what we're going to do is push it around till it gets heated through. And then we're actually going to pull all this out and set it aside because we need to make our roux. So a roux is basically a creamy sauce that's going to coat this casserole. So in the original recipe for Martha Stewart, she used like milk and flour and Parmesan cheese. But since I'm using a gluten-free pasta And also because the tuna is gluten-free, I thought this was a great opportunity to just make this a gluten-free recipe. So what I'm going to be using is almond milk and Follow Your Heart's Parmesan cheese, as well as some tapioca starch. So it's a wonderful way to enjoy this dish. And if you don't really eat gluten, this recipe is perfect for you. Okay, and instead of using tapioca starch, you could also use cornstarch or potato starch, whatever you have around. So the pan isn't perfectly clean, but that is okay because we're about to add some liquid, and that's going to clean off the base of our pan. We're just going to pour that in and start to scrape up the bottom of the pan. Alrighty. So we're mixing all of our flavors together. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt at this point as well. Maybe about a half a teaspoon. I don't want to go overboard because our fishless tuna is seasoned, and I did cook the pasta with a little bit of sea salt, so I don't want to go too crazy with the sodium. I like to be sparing when I'm cooking with salt and then use other things to up the flavor. Like I'm going to be squeezing in some lemon when this is all finished up, and that's a great way to enhance the flavor of salt in a dish without having to use so much sodium. So, oh, you can see the steam rising. It smells really good in here too. All right, so this is a tablespoon of tapioca starch, and I'm going to add this in gradually. I don't want it to clump up, so I'm going to try to sprinkle it in and stir as I go. Okay, it's already starting to thicken in some spots. And I think I will probably only use half of this because I really don't want this to be too sticky. I can always add more, but I don't want this pasta to be too dry. So we've got this in. Want to let it cook a bit. Now it would be ideal, an even more foolproof way to do this is to add a little bit of liquid to your starch to make a slurry and mix that up, and then pour that into your liquid that you're cooking with so that you don't get lumps or anything. But I'm trying to be mindful about avoiding lumps at all costs under the circumstances. So here we go. Let's see, let's shake in a little bit more of the tapioca starch. All right, because we do want this to start to come together and bind up. So I did end up using the whole tablespoon of the tapioca starch. Okay, so crank our heat up a little bit more because we want this to react a little bit quicker. It's nice to let things simmer slowly if you have a lot of time or that's a therapeutic thing for you, but you can also crank up the heat on some of these recipes and just get them done quickly. You have to keep a watchful eye, use all your senses, smell it. Does it smell like it's burning? Look at it. Is it getting too dark too quickly? But yeah, you don't have to necessarily simmer on low to make a recipe come out right. So we're going to crank up the heat. And obviously when you crank it up, it goes a lot faster too. Okay, so we've got all that incorporated. Now we're going to add in this entire container of Follow Your Heart Parmesan. So I'm just going to sprinkle that in and stir this in with our liquid, and our creamy sauce should form. Okay, so just be patient with it, and it will start to work out the lumps, and a nice creamy sauce will start to form. I've actually tested this recipe before too, and some of the lumps of Parmesan are kind of nice because you're kind of getting like a burst of Parmesan cheesiness as you're eating it. So don't be afraid of a little lumps. We don't need it to be perfectly smooth, but we do want to get the Parmesan evenly distributed throughout. Okay, here we go. So we've got that in. Let's add in our pasta now. We want this to absorb some of this liquid. Like I said, I cooked it for about 6 minutes. You can cook it for up to 8 minutes without it getting too mushy, but I knew I would be cooking it together with this casserole, so I didn't want to overcook it during the boiling process because I knew there would be liquids in this pan that I wanted to be absorbed during this cooking process. Okay. So just letting that bring the heat back up because the noodles are cooler than the rest of the ingredients in the pan, right? So we're going to let that cook together. Okay. And rotini is really nice too because it has these ridges in it. So the ridges are great little pockets for the sauce to slide in and hold on to extra flavor. So we want to use like a very textured pasta like rotini or something else that can really hold on to the sauce when you're cooking. So if you take a look at some of the ingredients we've used already, we've used almond milk, so we didn't have to use milk from a cow. We've used Parmesan cheese that is vegan, so we don't have to use a dairy product in that situation. We're using this chickpea rotini, and the only ingredient is chickpeas or chickpea flour. So we're not using egg noodles, which is what's suggested in the recipe. So that's 3 products that we've already eliminated from this dish that are a source of unnecessary cruelty, frankly. So this is dairy-free, it's wheat-free, it's egg-free, it's cholesterol-free, right? All right, so that's thickening up nicely. So now I'm going to add in our hearts of palm that have been sliced, and we're just going to stir that through, get everything coated here, right? Here we go. All right. And if you're just tuning in, I just want to let you know that today we are making this fish-free, tuna-less casserole with noodles. And this recipe is adapted from Martha Stewart's website. Okay. This is a Mediterranean-inspired tuna casserole, but it's vegan. They're not harming any animals in the making of this delicious dish. It's plant-powered, it's cholesterol-free, and it's just to illustrate that, you know, some of the dishes that you enjoyed maybe before going vegan, or some of the dishes that you love now and you're considering going vegan, I want to show you that you don't have to give them up. You just have to reimagine the way that you prepare them, and they're still accessible to you. So that's what we're whipping up today. All right, so our hearts of palm are nicely cooked through. Now I'm going to go ahead and add back in our bell pepper and garlic and our Good Catch tuna, fish-free tuna. Because you don't have to arm fish or cows or chickens or any other animals to have delicious food. Right? So here we go. Alrighty, so we've got this all mixed together, and just like that, this dish is just about complete. So it really just comes down to adding some finishing touches. So I have a lemon here, so I'm going to squeeze about half of a lemon juice on top of this, right? And that just brightened it up automatically. Cooking with flavor means engaging all of your senses. So you're going to use your sight to look at colors changing, having a nice combination of colors. You're going to use your sense of smell to smell what smells go together, what aromas complement each other. And of course, your taste. And your hearing too, you know, like you want to know when something's sizzling, your ears will tell you. So cooking is definitely a multi-sensory experience. All right, and that is looking absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on a few more scallions just for another touch of freshness, right? And there we have it, just like that. Let's see, how long have we been in this live? Under 20 minutes. In under 20 minutes, we have a delicious meal, a stovetop, vegan, Mediterranean tuna noodle casserole. No fish were harmed in the making of this dish. And we use Good Catch's fishless tuna. We use some Barilla chickpea pasta, which is gluten-free. So this dish is gluten-free. It is obviously fish-free. It's dairy-free. It's egg-free. It's cholesterol-free. And it's full of delicious and nutritious plants. So let me serve up a serving of this so you can see what it looks like now that it's all finished. And I would say that this recipe makes about 3 to 4 servings, depending on how hungry you are. And so it's a nice meal prep. You could certainly hack this recipe if you wanted to, but this is our final dish. And doesn't it look delicious? So let me know in the comments if you plan to try this recipe for yourself at home. I look forward to eating this once this live is over. And you can go to tryveg.com for this final recipe. It'll be posted with all the instructions and measurements that you need to make this delicious dish at home. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you enjoyed it as well, give it a comment. Share it with someone who's maybe looking for new vegan recipes to enjoy with family and friends. And you can also subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any delicious vegan recipes that I've got coming up soon for you. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next recipe video. Bye.